Stanley Kubrick is one of the most well-known filmmakers of all time. Having worked as a producer, screenwriter and photographer, he has been at the helm as the director for various popular films. He was born in America, though migrated to England later on in life. He has earned many awards including BAFTAs, Hugo and Academy Awards. I have chosen to create a manifesto for Kubrick to further explore his political identity. I have created studies on his work before and found it very entertaining, so I thought it would be best to do a topic on him again. While I do not agree with some of his political stances, such as his views towards capitalism, I admire his critiques of both right and left-wing ideologies. Throughout this manifesto, I will cover his political beliefs based on his films, interviews, and sources from those who are close to him. I will include films in which his attitudes are presented to give a clearer indication of my points. Whilst doing my research, I was surprised to find that some of his beliefs were not what one would assume them to be, as his films always appeared to be more befitting of left-wing ideologies. I also find it interesting to discover that Kubrick's political identity is not very consistent, having made equal criticisms towards both right-wing and left-wing beliefs. This is touched on in A Clockwork Orange. Kubrick criticises reformation of criminals, a left-wing belief, but also questions ethical experimentation, a right-wing belief. Moving on to the second tenet, Kubrick was very anti-war through his movies, portraying the harmful impact it has on humanity and morality in Full Metal Jacket. However, he also described war as beautiful, perhaps discussing the visuals and aesthetic. Kubrick took a lot of political motivation from the events surrounding him, such as the Cold War, with this leading him to include references in his film. In A Clockwork Orange, Kubrick includes socialist realism graffiti within the set design. One thing that can be commented on in today's context is the severe lack of representation in a Kubrick movie. Almost all of his major mainstream films feature a straight white man as the protagonist, with the small implication that Alex is bisexual in A Clockwork Orange. Eugenics also becomes a talking point in A Clockwork Orange. The government are trying to manipulate people's biological imperative, whilst Alex, the protagonist of the story, is a bad person. This is another demonstration of Kubrick disagreeing with government and eugenicism. Kubrick has the view that war is needless and worthless. This is most clearly presented in Dr. Strangelove, where Kubrick presents it rather comedically, which is a different tone compared to Full Metal Jacket, in which it explores the brutal impact it has on soldiers' mental health. Despite the aforementioned right-wing presentations in some of Kubrick's filmography, he is also progressively liberal. In A Clockwork Orange, Kubrick highlights flaws within the criminal justice system, traditionalism, and bureaucracy. He also had distrust for authoritarian powers, according to Michael Herr, a friend of Kubrick who had worked with on the screenplay for Full Metal Jacket. This is also seen within A Clockwork Orange and Dr. Strangelove. All of these films have authoritarian figures that are portrayed as dangerous, untrustworthy, and manipulative. As I stated at the start, Kubrick had rather contradicting political beliefs, despite his films being critical of the government. He stated in an interview with Michael Cement that the state should be able to use their power, albeit only to maintain peace. Finally, Kubrick was a capitalist. Having watched the majority of his filmography, I would have assumed he was anti-capitalism. He was in fact a capitalist supporter and was very opposed to, at the time, England Labour's version of socialism.